Today's title is Using Mental Math to Add. Go ahead and write that at the top of your page. The objective for today is I will apply a variety of methods to add whole numbers mentally. So today we're only going to be talking about adding, and we're going to be talking about how to do that mentally. So this means in our head. Now the way I cannot tell what you are thinking in your head, so I'm going to teach you some methods that you may use in your head, but we're going to be writing them down on our paper. With your shoulder partner, I'd like you to answer the following question. Luke collected 36 baseball cards and 34 football cards. Find the number of cards in his collection without using a pen and paper. The problem is asking you to solve the number of cards in his collection. If you are looking for the number of cards, you're looking for the total. When we're talking about total, you're going to be adding the numbers. The numbers that we are dealing with are 36 baseball cards and 34 football cards. Now it says that you are to use it without using a pen and paper or pencil and paper. So you need to figure out how to solve this in your head without writing anything down and be able to explain your thinking. The first vocabulary word today is breaking apart. And breaking apart means replacing the original numbers with numbers that make computing easier. Go ahead and write the definition of breaking apart in your notes. Now when breaking apart, the first step is to write the numbers in expanded form. Now we learned about expanded form from topic 3. Expanded form is when you take a number, like 36, and you expand it out for the values of the number. So I have the problem down here. We have 36 plus 34. Now I'm going to expand out each number. So 36 in expanded form, where I would take the 3, which is in the tens place, and it would become 30, because that's the value of the 3. The 6 is in the ones place, so it is just going to be a 6. Now when I'm breaking apart or writing 34 in expanded form, I'm actually going to write the tens place off to the outside. It'll make sense later as I show you what we're going to do. So again, we're going to write the expanded form of 34, which I have the tens place is 30 because there's 3 in the tens place, which if there's 3 tens, it's 30. 4 is in the ones, so we have 4. Now our next problem is this. We have 4 numbers to add together. Now remember, this is something you would be doing in your head. So when we're adding, we're actually going to be adding from the outside in. So we're going to start with the 2 numbers on the outside, which we have 30 and 30. Well, 30 plus 30 is 60. And that's easier to add in our head because all you have to do is add the 3 in the tens place together, which is 6, and add a 0 to get the number 60. Then we're going to take the other 2 single-digit numbers, which are 6 plus 4, and that's going to equal 10. Now I'm working with this problem, 60 plus 10. Again, since they end in 0, all you need to do is add the number in the tens place, which is 6 plus 1, which equals 7, and add your 0. Then your answer is 70. So the answer to 36 plus 34 is 70. And this is the way to solve it in your head mentally. Yes, we wrote it down, but if you could figure out how to expand it out and only add the tens place first together and then the ones place and then add those 2 answers together to get 70, then you have broken it apart and added it and found the answer. Here's another example that I'd like you to write in your notes and follow along as I go through it. So the original problem is 324 plus 561. So if you look at your notes, the first step to breaking apart is to write it in expanded form. So the first step is expanded form. And I'm going to abbreviate. So if I look at the 3, which is in the hundreds place, the value of that 3 is 300. Then we have a 2 in the tens place, so we have 20, and a 4 in the ones, so the value is 4. Now remember, I'm adding expanded form. So for this particular number, this is how I wrote it in expanded form. Now we have 561. Now if you remember, I told you that we're going to actually write the largest value off to the outside. So we're going to start again with the hundreds place. The hundreds place is 500 because there's 5 in the hundreds place. In the tens place, we have a 6. So that means 60. In the ones place, we have a 1, so we're going to put 1. So here is 561 in expanded form is 500 plus 60 plus 1. So now we're going to add up all of these numbers together. So the second step was to add from the outside. Add from outside. And then you're going to go outside in. So we're first going to do 300 plus 500. Well, 300 plus 500 is 800. Then we're going to do the tens. So we have 20 plus 60, which is 80. And then we have 4 plus 1, which is 5. So now the next problem that we're solving in our head is 800 plus 80 plus 5. Well, that is a number that's written in expanded form, which 800 plus 80 plus 5 would be 885. So the answer to 324 plus 561 is 885. Again, this is how we learn to solve it mentally in our head by using the expanded form to break apart and to add up simpler numbers. On your whiteboards, I'd like to have you try using the breaking apart method to add this first problem in your head, but show me what you would do on your boards. So go ahead and solve 86 plus 25 on your own on your whiteboard. Now try doing the same thing. Show me how to use the breaking apart method for 135 plus 48. Now the last one, go ahead and try and solve 239 plus 509 by using the breaking apart method. So this next vocabulary word is compensation. Now compensation is another method to solve a problem mentally. So if I have the problem 130 plus 48. Now 130 plus 48. Now some of you might be able to do that in your head, but again we're going to make the number simpler to add, and we've learned that numbers that end in 0 are simple to add in our head. So 130 already ends in a 0, so we're going to keep it the same. 48, we're going to round up to the closest number that ends in 0, which would be 50. So if I have 130 plus 50, I should be able to do that in my head because 13 plus 5 is 18, and then just add your 0 to get 180. Well, that's not the answer to 130 plus 48. Now, what you need to do next is you need to compensate for what you changed. So I added 2 too many, so I will subtract 2. Since I made this 48 higher, made it bigger than 48 to 50, I've added 2 too many to my number. So I need to subtract the 2 that I added. So I'm going to take 180, which was my answer here, and I'm going to take away the extra 2 that I added, and so my answer is 178, which that is the answer to 130 plus 48. Here's another example of how to use compensation. So my problem is 239 plus 509. Again, neither one of these numbers end in 0, which any number that ends in 0 or is a multiple of 10 is easier to add in your head. So we're going to change 230 to 200, and we're going to change 509 to 500. So this is a simpler problem to add in our head. 200 plus 500 is 700 because we have 2 plus 5 is 7, and I have 2 zeros in each of my add-ins, so I'm going to add 2 zeros to my answer. Now again, 700 is not the answer to 239 plus 509. So I did not add enough, because if you look here, I rounded down to 200 and I rounded down to 500, so I haven't added enough. So I will add these numbers back in. So when I compensated and came up with the answer of 700, I need to add in what I didn't add before, which would be the 39 plus 9. And I got those answers from the 39 and the 9 here. So if I do it simpler, if I do 700 plus 39, which would be 739. 739 then plus 9 is 748. This is the answer to 239 plus 509. So if you do not add enough, in your original problem when you compensate, you need to add those numbers back in. But if you add too many, you need to subtract those from your answer. Go ahead and try and solve these problems using the compensation method to add mentally. So the first one is 86 plus 25. Go ahead and solve that one mentally using the strategy of compensation. You can write it down to show your work, but remember these are methods that you would use mentally.